ओ ओ ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् रामो राजमणिः सदा विजयते रामं रमेशं भजे रामेणाभिहता निशाचरचमु रामाय तस्मै नमः रामान्नास्ति परायणं परतरं रामस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम् रामे चित्तलयः सदा भवतु मे भो राम मामुद्धर समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः 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 थर्ड मुंडक फर्स्ट खंड फर्स्ट मंत्र थ्रू फोर्थ मंत्र द्वा सुपर्णा सयुजा सखाया समानं वृक्षं परिशस्वजाते तयोरन्यः पिप्पलं स्वाद्वत्ति अनश्ननन्यो अभिचाकशीति समाने वृक्षे पुरुषो निमग्नः अनीशया शोचति मुह्यमानः जुष्टं यदा पश्यत्यन्यमीशम् अस्य महिमानमिति वीतशोकः यदा पश्यते रुक्मवर्णम् कर्तारमीशं पुरुषं ब्रह्मयोनिम् तदा विद्वान् पुण्यपापे विधूय निरञ्जनः परमं साम्यमुपैति प्राणो ह्येषः यः सर्वभूतैर्विभाति Vijanan Vidwaan Bhavatena Ativadi. Atma Krida Atma Rati Kriyavan. Isha Brahmavidam Varishtha. This khanda started with a very special, sweet metaphor of two birds. It pointed out what is bondage first. Clinging on to that tree and eating fruits on that tree is bondage. Jiva clinging on to deha, body, and wanting to enjoy karma phala through this body, and that too only sweet karma phalas, that idea, that quest leads one to bondage. What is liberation? Turning towards the second bird and understanding I am the second bird. Second bird was consciousness, shifting attention to consciousness and abiding in consciousness. That was the means for liberation. And what is the result of liberation? Shoka, moha is gone. The delusion arising due to avidya and the sorrow which arises because of this delusion. Both of them are removed from that sadhaka's life. Now, the fourth mantra is a very important, popular mantra. Many verses in Yoga Vasishta are based on this mantra. Prano hi esha sarva bhutair vibhati. Prana here refers to consciousness, Atma. One who recognizes Atma through all beings. Atma alone is appearing as all beings. Now it will push us to think, if you take it from the lens of Sat. So it is one thing to say things are outside and Atma illumines the things outside. There is a tree, there is a mountain outside, and consciousness through thought illumines that mountain outside. What is this mantra saying? Consciousness alone is appearing as that mountain outside. So this requires more mananam. This requires more nididhyasanam also. Just like that rope alone appears as snake, consciousness alone appears as world. The Sat aspect of Atma, that is lending its existence to all these names and forms which are called as mountains and rivers. But the beauty is, I am that consciousness. That is the final message of Vedanta. So one thing is to see world appearing in consciousness. Nididhyasanam is world appears in me. And when we say this statement, world is negated. We cannot keep world as real and somehow try to fit it in us. The very notion of inside and outside is negated because that also arises due to body identification. This point we saw in 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Bahirantascha bhutanam sarvamavritya tishtati. Bahihi anta, what is our boundary? Gross body. Whatever is outside gross body, we say bahihi. Little bit inside the skin layer, we say antar. But really speaking, gross body and everything else is an appearance in consciousness. When somebody realizes this, that consciousness alone is appearing as world, and there is no real entity called as world, what will be his understanding about all the beings in this world? If Jagat is mithya, other people whom he is interacting with, are they satyam or mithya? They are mithya. If whole Jagat is mithya, his own ahankara which is interacting, will that be satyam or mithya? That is also mithya. If this is the case, how does this knowledge express in his life? Vijanan Vidwaan bhavate nativadi. The one who knows this truth doesn't become argumentative. Because the one who is arguing and the one with whom he is arguing, these both are unreal. They are not absolute realities. Thinking them to be real is bondage. Ativadi, we will see in Bhashya. In Hindi it is sabko chup kara ke bolne wala. The one who can quieten everybody and then put his point. This is a very unique mantra where Brahma Vidya result is pointed out at speech level. Because it is said, whatever is in the mind, a window to that is our speech. Not even the physical appearance. Our speech is a window to our mind. That's why the presiding deity of Buddhi is Saraswati Devi, of Vani is also Saraswati Devi. Although Tattvabodha we say Vacho Devata Vani, but in Saraswati Stotram we say Saraswati Nrutyati Vachu Me Sada. Shankaracharya writes, may Goddess Saraswati dance on my tongue. Saraswati Nrutyatu Vachi Me Sada. So Devi of speech and Devi of Buddhi is Saraswati Devi. Why? Because both are very closely connected. But here the emphasis is given on understanding. Because somebody is not argumentative doesn't mean that person is Brahmajnani. If at all somebody is Brahmajnani, they will not be argumentative. In that way we should understand. Vijanan Vidwaan. Vijanan means one who knows Mahavakya. That person doesn't become argumentative. Atma Krida Atma Ratihi. Atma Krida means he sports with the self. Atma Ratihi means his wholehearted love is for the self. There is no other object, no other person where his mind goes to. It is his self alone which is the most dearest to him. Based on this one word, Puja Guruji has written one text, Vedanta Madhuryam. And the title is My Dear Self. Means the one who comes to discover this truth comes to love the truth. Atmaratihi Kriyavan. Kriyavan here refers to his lifestyle. Kriyavan means what are the actions that he does, those related to knowledge, those related to meditation, dhyana, and vairagya. Means in his lifestyle you see vairagya, predominance is of meditation, and whatever is needed for strengthening this knowledge or even the values part of knowledge. 13th chapter, Jnana word went with Jnana Sadhanani. Eshaha Brahmavidam Varishtaha. This Jnani is the best amongst knowers of Brahman. Now just on this one quarter, Esha Brahmavidam Varishtaha, in Yoga Vasishta, 7 bhumikas are given of a Jnani's mind. We should remember, it is not bhumikas of Atma. Although we say Sapta Jnana Bhumika, Atma doesn't have any bhumika, it doesn't have any gradation, no steps. That mind of a jnani which has this knowledge, it will express in 7 ways. So towards the end of this bhashya, we will see those 7 steps. Now there are many interesting points in this bhashya. I didn't cover all of them in the summary part because when we see the bhashya, we will go through them. Okay, let us see the bhashya. Kincha yah ayam pranasya pranah parah ishvarah hi eshah prakrutah सर्वभूतैः ब्रह्मादिस्तम्भपर्यन्तैः इत्थं भूतलक्षणे तृतीया सर्वभूतस्थः सर्वात्मासन् इत्यर्थः विभाति विविधं दीप्यते एवं सर्वभूतस्थं यः साक्षात् आत्मभावेन अयम् अहम् अस्मि इति विजानन् विद्वान् वाक्यार्थ ज्ञानमात्रेण सह भवते भवति न भवति इति एतत् किम् अतिवदति अतिवादी अतीत्य सर्वान् अन्यान् वदितुं शीलम् अस्य इति अतिवादी. किंच, moreover, yaha ayam pranasya pranah. What is being pointed out here as prana is not pancha prana, but it is the pranasya pranah of Kenopanishad, that pure consciousness, which is the enlivener of pranas. Parah Ishwarah. It is also the essential nature of Ishwarah. Eshah Prakrutah. The topic is going on of Akshara, of consciousness. So prana word has many meanings. One meaning is pancha prana. What is another meaning of prana? No, Atma is given here. That is pancha prana. Vedanta Saravisa. Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha is also called prana. Pancha prana are also called as prana. Atma is also called as prana. So out of these 3 meanings, which meaning should we take of Atma? Why? Because it is Prakruta Artha. Prakruta means whose topic you have been discussing. If you are discussing topic of Atma, suddenly we cannot discuss about Hiranyagarbha. Nor can we discuss about Pancha Prana. Prano hi esha prakrutah sarvabhutaihi. Sarvabhutaihi, Shankaracharya says, ittam bhuta lakshane tritiya. Means when you want to indicate nature of a thing, this is how it is. You can use third case. So for example, if you want to say, tapasvi is the one who has jata. Tapasvi means tapasaha. If you want to say, a tapasvi is the one who has jata, you can say, jatabhihi tapasaha. So jatabhihi will not be instrumental case. Means it will not be in the sense of being an instrument, but it is in the sense of being an indicator. So sarvabhutaihi, like ramaihi, tritiya vibhakti, is used to indicate prana. Sarvabhutaihi. Now what is sarvabhutaihi? Brahmadi stamba paryantaihi. It is this Brahman alone which is making itself known through all beings, all objects. What is the spectrum of beings? One being is Brahmaji. What is the meaning of stamba? Blade of grass. If you say stambha, then it becomes pillar. Stambha means pillar, stamba means blade of grass. So Brahmaji represents exalted conditioning of Hiranyagarbha. And blade of grass represents the most insignificant conditioning. And whatever we are in between, Manushya, somewhere in between, this prana alone, consciousness alone appears as all. Prana alone appears as Brahmaji, prana alone appears as blade of grass. Brahmadi stamba paryantaihi sarvabhutaihi vibhati. Sarvabhutastaha means it is the essential nature of all beings. Sarvabhutastaha sarvatma san ityartha. Be very careful here. Huh? Don't make all beings as substratum and then put consciousness inside it. In consciousness, all beings are woven. Sarvabhutastaha means that. Vibhati, vividham deepyate. It makes itself known through different ways. One very evident way of making itself known is through existence. A thing exists means Sat aspect of Chaitanya is making itself known. If a thing is moving, then Chit aspect of Chaitanya is making itself known. And if a moving person is happy, then Ananda aspect of Chaitanya is making itself known. So vividham deepyate. Evam sarvabhutastham yaha. Now this consciousness which is sarvabhuta, which is the essence of all beings, sakshat atma bhavena. One who knows this as one's own self. How does he know it? Ayam aham asmi iti. This prana, which is the essential nature of all beings, this prana which is appearing as all beings, this prana I am. The one who knows in this way. How did he know this? What is that person's name called? Vijanan Vidwaan. The one who knows this is called Vidwaan. How did he know this? Vakyartha jnana matrena. What is the meaning of Vakyartha here? Mahavakyartha. The one who has contemplated on Mahavakya, understood the meaning of Mahavakya, that alone becomes the reason for such an understanding. That matrena means this alone is the reason. If a person has done several other sadhanas, done lot of pilgrimage, lot of chanting, all of them will prepare him for this understanding. But only when he thinks, contemplates on Mahavakya, this knowledge is born. Viveka Chudamani, last verse we saw in the last class was Vedantartha vicharena jayate jnanamuttamam tenatyantika samsara dukkhanasho bhavatyanu. With the knowledge of Vedanta, by contemplating on Mahavakya sincerely, with a devoted, committed mind, supreme most knowledge, Uttamam Jnanam Jayate. Uttamam Jnanam here will be Paravidya. And that knowledge is powerful enough to burn all samsara. Tena atyantika samsara dukkhanasha, and all sorrows. Bhavati anu. That anu word is added to indicate if avidya is removed for good, no other sorrow can re-enter. That is this Vijanan Vidwaan. Vakyartha Jnana Matrena. Saha Bhavati. With the knowledge of Mahavakya, that person becomes. Now, the word in mantra is Bhavate. Shankaracharya says that is Arsha Prayoga. We should change it to Bhavati. Change it means we should understand that it is Bhavati. Don't change the Upanishad mantra. Bhavati. Na Bhavati. Na word is also there, right? Vijanan Vidwan Bhavate Na. So it doesn't become. It doesn't become what? Ativadi na Bhavati. Are you all with me? In the mantra, how does it read? Vijanan Vidwan Bhavate Nativadi. So Vijanan Vidwan Na Ativadi Bhavate. So Shankaracharya is only taking Na Bhavate first. He says that person doesn't become. Doesn't become what? Doesn't become an Ativadi. Etat kim, what does he not become? He says Ativadi na Bhavati. Now he is explaining the word Ativadi. Atitya Sarvan, Anyan. Atitya means whitening others, transgressing others, stepping over others. Atitya Sarvan, Anyan, Vaditum, Shilam Asya. He is an expert in speaking like this. Wants to win over everybody and then put his point. This person is called as Ativadi. We know there are different types of speech in debate. The one that is a respectful conversation between two people who are trying to arrive at the truth is Vada. The main goal there is, what is the truth? Second one is called as Jalpa, where both are argumentative. Because they have come with their own strong opinions. And the only thing to be proven is, I am right. I am right, you are wrong. Both things. So whenever Shastrartha is done, it is said this style of debate is not healthy debate. Because two schools of thoughts coming with strong opinions. And what is their understanding? I am right, you are wrong. He said truth will not be established. That kind of debate is called as Jalpa. Win at any cost. That is the mantra in Jalpa. Last one is Vitandavada. Vitandavada means you don't have a standpoint of your own. Either you're not thought about it, or you don't have a good answer to a problem, but you criticize the other person. The bottom line there is, you are wrong. Now if somebody asks, okay, what is your opinion? He says, I don't have an opinion, but I know that you are wrong. That is called as Vitanda. So Vijanan Vidwan Bhavate Nativadi means what? He is not interested in Vada, or Vada he will do for good things. He is not interested in Jalpa and not interested in Vitanda. That is the meaning of Na Ativadi Bhavati. Okay. Now see the next part. Yahatu evam sakshat atmanam pranasya pranam vidwan ativadi sahana bhavati ityarthah sarvam yada atma eva na anyat asti iti Drishtam tada kim hi asau atitya vadet. Asau atitya vadet. Sandhi happens there. Yasya tu aparam anyat drishtam asti saha tad atitya vadati ayam tu vidwan atmanah anyat na pashyati na anyat shrunoti na anyat vijanati atah na ativadati. Bhagavan is elaborating the word Vijanan Vidwan Bhavate Ativadi. Having known this truth, the knower of truth doesn't become argumentative. Yah tu evam sakshat atmanam pranasya pranam Vidwan. The one who knows this prana as one's own self, that Vidwan, Ativadi saha na bhavati ityartha. That Vidwan doesn't become Ativadi. Shankaracharya is repeating this statement only to draw our attention that the cause for his Ativaditva, is knowledge. See, there is one type of sadhana which a person can practice. For example, in Sadhana Panchakam, Shankaracharya said, Natu vrutha vakyam samucharyatam. If a statement is not necessary to be spoken, one should not speak. Vrutha vakyam means that casually don't go on talking if you are interested in Brahmanishta. Be very mindful of speech. Now that sadhana there is more at mind level. Because I want Brahma Vidya, because speech which is not mindful can land me in trouble. Because of this understanding, that sadhaka tries to control speech. Either you say based on value system, based on damaha, sadhana chatushtaya. With that as the anchor, he is trying to moderate speech. But here, this is not sadhana. Shankaracharya points out this is a result of knowledge. That which is unreal, one need not get too stuck with it. The example of dream debate is very helpful here, what we saw in the last class. If I had a debate with somebody in dream and I defeated that person, the one who won and one who got defeated, both are me only. And the one who won, one who got defeated, both are unreal. So based on that, when this person wakes up, what will he be about dream debate, Vadi or Ativadi? Ativadi. He will not find any purpose in discussing it, any purpose in bragging about it. That I defeated this person in dream. It's the same thing if we can get for waking ahankara. No titles of ahankara, a Vedanta sadhaka feels proud to wear. In fact, he feels it's a burden. So to point out that emphasis is on knowledge, Bhagavan mentions this statement again. Pranasya pranam, one who has known I am the self, sakshat atmanam vijanati, saha ativadi na bhavati. Sarvam yada atma eva na anyat asti iti drishtam. One who sees that everything is the self, there is nothing which is other than the self. Tada, at that time, kim hi asau atitya vadet. What is there for him to win over and speak about? Once he understands What I call as world is nothing but the self. There is no second entity called as world. What is there to win over? So in the example, you can take it as once wave understands it is water. What is there to talk about big wave and small wave? Because they're not even independent things. It is water alone in a different name and form. So in place of water, we can put consciousness. Consciousness alone with different name and form appears as Jagat. Because he sees that, what is there to win over? Who will be prompted to be argumentative? Yasya tu aparam anyat drishtam asti. One who is still seeing plurality. Saha tad atitya vadati. He is prompted to win over somebody else, win over some topic, and get proud that I won over this person. Ayam tu Vidwaan Atmanah anyat na pashyati. This Vidwaan doesn't see anything different from the self. Atmanah anyat na pashyati. Na anyat shrunoti, doesn't hear anything different from the self. Na anyat vijanati, doesn't know of anything different from the self. This is an Upanishad mantra which has a symbolic meaning. Na anyat pashyati refers to aparoksha jnanam. Na anyat pashyati means he has understood the self as his own nature. He doesn't say Prana appears as this universe. He says I appear as this universe. Before that, what was his condition? Na anyat shrunoti. Na anyat shrunoti refers to paroksha jnanam. Paroksha jnanam means he has meditated upon this fact that everything is nothing but consciousness. And with this paroksha jnanam and aparoksha jnanam, his final stage is na anyat vijanati, which refers to clear knowledge without Viparita Bhavana. Na anyat vijanati means clear knowledge without any Viparita Bhavana. Means it doesn't get... See, Viparita Bhavana means what, What I know and how I live, they are not integrated. Viparita Bhavana means that what I know and how I live, they are not aligned. If somebody says Jagat is Satyam, this person can establish using Upanishad mantras, using logic, that no, Jagat is Mithya. But still his mind runs towards joy in sense objects. Still his mind keeps falling back to this understanding, misunderstanding rather. World is Satyam. So that is called as Viparit Bhavana. It is not lack of knowledge. Knowledge is very well there. But that knowledge is not translated into his own conviction. Means if somebody studies Vedanta, let us say for 20-25 years, after that we lose this ability to say, privilege to say, I don't know I am Brahman. So be very careful. If you are studying Vedanta for a long time, and still after that you say, no, I think I am Jiva only. He says, no. If he has done thorough Shravanam, knowledge has to take place. Same thing only they are telling in different Upanishads, different texts. But not necessary that sadhaka starts feeling, I have gotten the result of knowledge. Who is responsible for this? Viparita Bhavana. And the antidote for Viparita Bhavana is Nididhyasana, meditation. Every problem has a very specific cure. If I have doubts, then the antidote is Shravanam Mananam. If I have doubts about how I am Brahman, how world is unreal, that means during Shravanam, there was some gap. Or having heard, I did not reflect on it. If I have heard, I have reflected, doubts have to go away. But still that third problem will bother us. See, after studying Vedanta, although we say, I am not this body, but not necessary that fear of death will go away. Right away, huh? What is that quality called as? If fear of death still lingers, fear of old age still lingers, that is called as Viparit Bhavana. Now you tell that person, you are the body, right? What will he say? No, I am not the body. I am Atma. So on one hand, he says, I am Atma, I am not this body. Another hand, he still feels anxious about what is going to happen to this body. That is called as Viparit Bhavana. So the one who is able to drop this, that is this Vijanan Vidwaan. Through Shravanam, Mananam, and sincere Nididhyasana. Ataha na ativadati. Therefore, he is not becoming argumentative, not interested in jalpa, not interested in vitanda. Puju Guruji narrates this incident often of Kabir Das ji. One scholar comes to him and says, I want to have Shastrartha with you, debate with you, so that I can establish my Siddhanta and put down yours. Kabir Das ji says, I declare you as the winner right away. Why debate first and then try to establish? If Shastrartha is coming from the standpoint of establishing the truth, then a lot of new things open up. Good example of Shastrartha is Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji and Mandan Mishra ji. The way that they debate, many topics of Vedanta become clear to us. Whatever points Mandan Mishra ji puts, through that we get clarity about Advaita Vedanta. One of the most important one is what is Pramana. Mandan Mishra ji says, if a thing is telling you something, and that thing you already know, then it will not be called as Pramana. Pramana should be something which is Ajnata Jnapakam. Something which I would not have known through any other means. This is the only way I will come to know. Then it is called as Pramana. Anyway, we don't need to go in that discussion. In our CCMT book, Shankara Missionary, some part of that debate is given and very nicely presented. The main point here is na ativadi bhavati, doesn't become argumentative, but the premise of this quality is knowledge. It is not at mind level, not done as sadhana. That is also there, but that is for a sadhaka. Next, second line of the Bhashya, Atma Krida Atma Rati Kriyavan. That is elaborated here. Kincha Atma Kridaha Atmani Eva Krida क्रीडनं यस्य आत्मनि एव क्रीडा क्रीडनं यस्य न अन्यत्र पुत्रदार आदिषु पुत्रदारादिषु सह आत्मक्रीडः तथा आत्मरतिः आत्मनि एव च रति रमणं प्रीतिः यस्य सह आत्मरतिः क्रीडा बाह्यसाधनसापेक्षा रतिः तु साधननिरपेक्षा बाह्यविषय प्रीतिमात्रम् इति विशेषः. Now the second line, Atma Kridah Atma Ratihi. Bhagavan explains, Kincha Atma Kridah. What is Atma Kridah? Atmani eva kridanam yasya. One who sports, plays with the self, that person is called as Atma Kridah. There is one text in Kannada called Mankutimana Kagga. It's a very simple composition. It's actually a story of a little boy who loved his uncle. And the uncle would come whenever there was summer vacation. He would play with the boy. But once that uncle figures out that he has reached, mature age, he receives a letter from his uncle. His father receives a letter that it is time, I'm going to Kashi to study. Whatever I have to tell, the little boy, I've already told. And there is a book that I have kept. Whenever he reaches of a mature age, he can read it. Saying this, he goes away. So this little boy finds that book inside, and there were couplets written in it. Different things about life, how to be happy in life, transactional life also. And Advaita Vedanta in a poetic form. So this Atma Kridah, in that Mankutimana Kagga, it is said, this is a sport. Jnani is sporting with the self. He says the self is like a grandfather and is telling all grandchildren, I will hide, you find me. But he tells all of them, there is no option of not playing this game. Means he has made us in such a way that we will seek for happiness. Only thing is, some will seek in the wrong place. So time and again he tells all the children, come find me. Who is this Jnani who has actually found him? Atma Kridah, he plays sports with the self. Na anyatra. Shankaracharya writes another side of it. He is not sporting anywhere else. Other than Atma, what is remaining? Anatma. So if he is not sporting in Atma, where will this person end up sporting? In some kind of Anatma. So na anyatra means not anywhere else. Two examples of Anatma are given. Putra Daradishu. In the relations, progeny. But we should take this as Upalakshana. Adi word is there, right? Adi includes any worldly source which we think will give us joy. So this Brahmajnani doesn't revel in those things. Now, this we should not take it as he becomes averse to them or bitter about them, but there is no false expectation. So, his sporting comes from the self. Saha Atma Kridaha. That person is called Atma Kridaha. So, Atma Kridaha is name of this Brahmajnani. Atmani Krida Yasya. Tatha Atmaratihi. Another word is used, Atmaratihi. What is Atmaratihi? Atmani evacha rati. He revels in the self. Another name for rati is Priti. His love is for the self. Pritihi yasya sa atmaratihi. That person who has love for the self is called as Atmaratihi. Now, somebody might say, both words look the same. He sports in the self, he revels in the self. What is the difference between Atma Krida and Atmaratihi? Atma Krida was the first word. Atmarati is the second word. Shankaracharya says, Krida Bahya Sadhana Sapeksha. In Krida, in sport, you need some kind of instruments. But to revel, Ratihi tu sadhana nirapeksha. To revel in something, you don't need any instrument. Pushpa means flower. Huh? If you want to do Pushpa Krida, you want to decorate flowers, you want to throw flowers, that Krida needs Pushpa, real flower you need. But if you want to do Pushpa Rati, you want to revel in the thought of flower, we don't need actual flower. If you want to do Swara Krida means play with swaras, then you actually need to sing or play an instrument. But if you want to do Swara Rati, then there is no need for any instrument. This is the difference between both of them. Atma Kridaha means using these instruments, he is expressing the bliss of the self. Atma Ratihi, without doing anything, he is reveling in the self. That is the difference between both of them. Ratihi tu sadhana nirapeksha. Rati doesn't need any sadhana, any means. Bahya vishaya priti matram iti visheshaha. Rati involves only love. There is no instrument involved in Rati. That is why two words are used, Atma Kridaha and Atma Ratihi. But we should remember the topic we discussed in the last class. Who is playing with whom over here? Maya Atma is playing with Paramatma. This knowledge has taken place in Pramata. Knowledge is called as Prama. It has taken place in Pramata, and the nature of knowledge is I am not Pramata. Ahankara gains this knowledge. I am not Ahankara, but I am the self. Once he gains this knowledge, Ahankara sports with the self. Where was Ahankara sporting previously? With the world. This also is the metaphor of first bird looking at second bird. Previously, the first bird only looked at the world, got stuck with so many things outside. The title it had was Ativadi. See, Ativadi is not title of Atma. Ativadi is title of Ahankara. But after knowledge, when it understands its own mithyatva, the title that it gets is Ativadi na bhavati. Na Ativadi bhavati, and it becomes Atma Kridaha. It is just like when children play with shadow. They make different forms, rabbit form, ghost form. That shadow is ahankara, and the hand is self. How that unreal entity one can play with, in the same way, Jnani sports in the self. Unreal entity is ahankara. Huh? With that, he is sporting both ways. Now, Shankaracharya ji gives a Sanskrit lesson to all of us. He says this word, Atma Krida, after that is Atma Rati Kriyavan. First, he defines the word Kriyavan. Then he says, Kriyavan, if you read it as two separate words, it will mean something. Means Atmarati and Kriyavan, if you read it as two separate words, it will mean something. And if you read it as Samasa, Atmarati Kriyavan, remove that Visarga, make it a Samastapada, it will indicate another meaning. Okay, that we will see in the next session. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.